It's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's just ISRO soaring high. This week, WAC and Epified help you decide if ISRO deserves any credit at all, or if it's all just castles in space. ISRO, or the Indian Space Research Organization, has been our national space agency since its birth in 1969. 46 years on, and ISRO has done quite a few things right. They've set up INSAT, or the Indian National Satellite System, which transmits all your favorite TV shows apart from 1,000 other things. The other satellite system, the Indian Remote Sensing System, scans every meter off the ground, quite literally, to find resources like underground water. Its success has reportedly saved the government $100 million in drill boring expenses. And speaking of discovering water, ISRO's first ever lunar probe even found some of it on the moon in 2008. Now talk about having a thirst for knowledge. But far from being a national icon, ISRO's not even liked by some. They claim that India should have kept its feet on the ground and dealt with problems of poverty and hunger first, before spending money on space flights of fancy. The argument goes that the benefits of the space program to the common man don't justify the huge investment. Those complaints got louder and louder while we celebrated ISRO's amazing Mars orbiter success. Not only was it the cheapest mission to Mars, but the only one to enter the Martian atmosphere at its first attempt. Well, we Indians have always been good at entrance exams, so... Except this time, it wasn't just our resident critics, but even some international voices who decided to underplay ISRO's efforts. New York Times carried a pretty racist cartoon, while China, well, they just decided to ignore it. Maybe they were taken by surprise by ISRO's success in doing what no one else had managed to do, and they did it at about 1/10 the cost of NASA's Mars mission too. Now how's that for cheap and effective? India's space venture on a shoestring was made possible not only by less expensive engineering talent willing to work around the clock, but also by using ingenious improvisation to cope successfully with resource constraints and exceptionally tight timelines. ISRO built the final model of the orbiter from the start, instead of building a series of iterative models as NASA does. They limited the number of ground tests. They used components and building blocks from earlier and concurrent missions. They also circumvented the lack of a rocket powerful enough to launch the satellite directly out of the Earth's gravitational pull by having the satellite orbit the Earth for a month in order to build up enough speed so that it could break free from the Earth's gravitational pull. Now, how's that for a good old Indian jugaad? But most importantly, it showed off the Indian space technology to the world. It showcased the quality of ISRO's ingenious launch vehicles, which also carry satellites to space for a living. In fact, last year, ISRO earned $200 million carrying other people's satellites for them. They even set some sort of a record when an ISRO launch vehicle carried 10 satellites, the most ever managed. All this was achieved after being allocated less money than most programs in the budget, including India's foreign aid to Bhutan, even less than the amount that was used to keep Air India afloat. By some estimates, ISRO now earns about $2 for every dollar that was invested by the government. Clearly, this is one part of the government that does work. The brilliant scientists and engineers at ISRO are the biggest heroes. Not only have they mastered space technology, which they did while barely making any money, getting paid a tiny fraction of what their peers are making in the rest of the world. It seems that they are driven by what Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of Indian space research, said at the founding of ISRO. If we are to play a meaningful role nationally and in the community of nations, we must be second to none in application of advanced technologies to the real problems of man and society. So to all the naysayers, I would like to say, ISRO is not only a national asset, it's a national virtue. It's living proof of our respect for knowledge and the will to contribute to humanity. We at WAC and Epified will continue to cheer on ISRO as it plans to a follow-up mission to the moon in 2017, maybe even one to Venus. Shoot for the stars, guys. Like, comment and share this video. And for more wacky videos, subscribe to the WAC. And for videos on mythology and history, subscribe to Epified. When the Hinduja guy married his designer bride, and they approximately spent 100 crores on this wedding. 100 crores, it's got like that many zeros.
Brahma sleeps for 1 day. This 1 day of Brahma equals 4.32 billion human years.